2, 1. God, I always forget to fucking get the date. Friday, July 10th, 2020, 11:59 a.m. Eastern Time, TPC 134. For everyone listening, this is on YouTube, DTube, BitChute, Spotify, Vimeo, Smoke Signal, whatever the fuck you want. This is with Mike Fiorello, who your sister was in my class at Pius. Were you a year ahead of me? 2 years?
3 years.
3 years? Were you in my brother's class? 2 years? No, Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so, I have on people from all walks of life on this podcast, and there's really no agenda or niche. Any agenda or niche that's a projection by whoever's listening.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw you post something, long story short, online, basically like, I'm not going to do this whole cancel culture thing. Like, I'm not sorry for being white. And I was like, that's awesome. And before anyone tries to bottle this into, so this is what that podcast is. Dude, if you're a transgender black Muslim, come on here and say the same thing. I don't give a fuck. You're more than welcome to. That's what this is.
Right.
So, yes, I am conservative. You are. That's not what this is. I have on my buddy Ernie, who's a first-generation Mexican immigrant who worked in the Obama administration. So about as far opposite as me. And he comes on here and we still shoot the shit. So that's what it is. So above all else, the idea of just cancel culture, or the idea of you got to apologize for everything. And, I found out through my dad that my ancestors on my dad's side actually fought for the Union Army. So I would like people to start thanking me and give me reparations for the trauma that my family went through, because they started in New Hampshire and somehow ended up in fucking California in the 1860s. So I want a free pass from everyone, because if we're all holding each other's ancestors accountable, and to all my friends in Atlanta, I'm sure your ancestors fought against mine. So again, I would like an apology, handwritten or phone. You can call me. But that's kind of the holy gist of it. Just fuck cancel culture, man. Get woke, go broke. I fucking hate it. Be yourself. Sorry for interrupting you. Mike Fiorello, older brother of a girl in my class in high school and in the class of my brother.
Yeah, well, it's just, the idea that we can't have a civil discourse between people who disagree in this country is absolutely ridiculous, because that's how the mechanism of the country functions. Yeah. People who have different ideas have a civil discourse, and whether you're of a different political affiliation or ideology, that's the whole point. Yeah. I mean, that's where the ideas meet, and then the compromise comes, and then you can identify the problem and then fix the problem. If you don't even know what the problem is, how are you supposed to fix the problem? If you don't want to talk to somebody because they're a conservative, or a Christian, or they're white. I mean, it's just absurd. Yeah, and it's well, how come you don't want to discuss it? I don't talk with Nazis. You're like, cool, me neither. Cool. I'm glad we're on that. The idea that there's a bunch of Nazis running around in this country is ridiculous.
Hey, man, I'm with you. Fuck them. Hey, you guys are marching against them. I'm with you, man. I'll march with you. My great uncle marched onto Omaha, and he fucking killed him with his hands. Hey, man.
Everybody gets called a Nazi.
Yeah.
Everyone gets called a racist. So if there really is a Nazi, you won't even know anymore, because everyone calls it.
That's another thing, man. Is the constant just everyone, you racist Nazi. Just you get out. It's like Mad Libs. You're like you racist xenophobic. It's like, all right, man. But like it's the more you say that to everyone, you take it away from the value when it is deserved.
Exactly.
The boy who called wolf. Yeah, exactly. It's you. I guess I just got amped up. I got a stitch in my side. Jesus.
I got a stitch.
But man, it's when you call everyone a Nazi and everyone a racist. As someone that I went to Valdosta State for 2 years, let me tell you, there's real racism there. Not like. That's a white guy who's proud of being white. That's a racist. Not that bullshit. Sure. I mean, legitimate racism. Color of the skin, fuck them. Like, that exists. But
absolutely,
when you call just sort of fucking middle of the road fucks like you and I are racist, it's like, dog, you're taken away from like the legitimate. At the bar I worked at, I remember the first night I was there. I was only there for 6 months. I ended up getting fired. But the first night I was there, so make sure they have a good fake ID. If they don't, put an X on their hand. And number 3, no blacks. This was August 2010. But now, if I try to point that out, but now I have to tell that story to make my point known. Instead of, normally you should be able to say, yeah, dude, I worked at that bar and there were some racists. Oh, okay, yeah. But now if I just say that, it's like, oh, yeah, they're just, okay, whatever. They're just, yeah, they're just racist. But if I just say they're racist at that bar, it doesn't, you're like, okay, cool. I'm guessing what, they're Southern frat guys? You're like, no, I mean, like, they're actually institutionalized race. But that word no longer works because he's a racist. Oh, I guess I'm a racist too. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. All right. So it doesn't hold any weight.
Right. Well, I think it's the wrong game to play in general.
Yeah.
Because it's all this, you see it every day in the media on the left. It's this collectivism idea. Everything is a collective group. There's no more sovereignty of the individual anymore at all.
No.
I mean, even from clinical literature, we know there's more diversity within groups than without the groups. There's more diversity within a white group, within a black group, than there are between whites and blacks.
Yeah.
So the sovereignty of the individual is a right that we have in this country. And to say that, the problem with the people on the left nowadays is their temperament doesn't allow them to draw borders. We know that because when Trump talked about the wall, it was like, oh no, we can't have a wall. We can't have borders because their temperament doesn't, that's why they can't draw even good, which it's hard to find now, good liberals. They can't draw the line between these are good liberals and these are bad. Just like how you can decide, well, those people in Valdosta, they might be conservative, but they're not my kind of
but fuck them, yeah.
Yeah, no. Because they voted for Trump, they're not me.
No.
I don't support that.
No, not at all. No one does. Fuck them.
Exactly. But conservatives are much better because we're good, because we're traditionalists, right? So we can draw borders around things and put it aside.
Yeah, and it's...
The left is not good at that.
Yeah, and I don't even want to throw the whole left under the bus because just even that right there saying that you're instantly going to have people just instantly tune out. It's just like, so like someone like Ernie. Ernie comes on here. Ernie's as far left as you can get. Ernie's also an unabashed capitalist that loves the military. So like, that's why I have Ernie on is so when I have these views of, oh, the left can't. Ernie comes on here, I'm like, man, Ernie's almost the same as me. Like, it's so... And he's
social ideas too. I mean, that's the idea to make sure, I don't know, man. It's just the wrong game to play to me to put everybody in boxes.
Yeah, dude. In 2008, I voted for Obama. I am almost the same person I am now. I haven't changed, man. Same shit. I'm like, you need a good amount of military because the real world is not fun. The real world is brutal. It's a zero-sum game. That's what it is. Wish we could all sing Kumbaya, but we can't. I think a lot should go. I voted for Obama because I wanted to see stem cell research. I wanted to see pluripotent stem cell research, and that went against a lot of stuff on the right. And I was like, that's cool. I'm fine with that. 2012, I voted for Romney because I was like, hey, you know what? I'm trying to go to medical school. I don't want national health care. 2016, I voted in the primary. It's not the actual election, and I voted for Bernie because I was like, I want to see more drugs legalized. I was like, I think there's a lot of therapeutic values that could come with the end of the war on drugs. I didn't vote in the election because moved home, my life kind of turned upside down. Point being, I think I'm the only person I know that in 3 elections has gone 1, 2, 3 on the opposite sides because I'm not changing, man. The shit's just swaying around, and it's just turning into insanity. It's when you have
what the political landscape is anyway, right? It's like riding on the back of the snake. It's always moving.
Yeah, but when you get to a point where now J.K. Rowling is being shut, they're attempting to cancel her. You can't cancel that Harry Potter lady. You can't. Good luck.
Biological sex exists.
Yeah.
She's being canceled.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd.
It's fucking hilarious. I love it because it's like that. It's just another red pill. It's like, look what happens when your foot marches out of line with everyone else. When you get out of the perfect marching orders, all of a sudden, fuck this person.
Right.
And then
it's self-refuting. Their arguments are self-refuting, and it eats their own arguments.
And dude, this is the one I always point to. Trump is a Nazi. We must resist against Trump. Okay, you can hold that belief. Next statement. We need to turn in all guns to the government. So you want to give all the guns to the Nazi? No, we want to give the guns to the cops. No. Okay. Next statement. All cops are bastards. Defund the police. So I need a gun? No, you don't need a gun. So are we resisting the Nazis or not? Do we trust the police or no? What the fuck? Okay, Canada and Mexico right now. Man, I really did hurt my side. I don't know what the fuck happened. I guess I'm just getting old. right now it's in the news that like Mexico is stopping people from America coming in because of COVID. Good, great, sovereign nation. But now everyone's, hey, so a border's a strong thing. Like Chaz in Seattle, they have an outpost and you're not allowed to go past those lines. So walls.
We see CNN when they, when the
so walls work.
The rioters started, coming after their place in Atlanta. Oh, all of a sudden they put up a big barrier. Oh, okay. Yeah. So walls work when it's you, but not when it's everybody else, especially in the country.
Yeah,
it's just them trying to take down Trump. It's as simple as that. They hate him. They don't want him in office, and they want him gone.
Yeah, and it's
period.
It's Trump has got them whipped up into such a furious, obsessive hatred now that it's actually, man, if you are a president, I think that's the spot you want to be in, because now anything that he wants to do, he can just say the opposite, and just like that, they will whip him up into this is what we're going to do. He can just say, he could say anything. If he came out for just federally legalized and funded abortion, if he just came out and said that, my God, rioting in the streets, rioting in the streets, man. So like, which now just makes me think like, I bet he has done that. I wonder if they're like, what has he done that he's just playing like a fucking flute and it's a laser pointer.
Well, look what they just did with him with the hydroxychloroquine is a good example.
What happened with that? They
came after him for taking hydroxychloroquine, which has been around for 65 years. And it's got a lot of clinical literature is saying that it's absolutely a good preventive, especially early in stopping COVID-19. But they went completely against them. Op-eds, Trump is using dangerous medicine. Lancet came out with the medical journal, came out with a study that they completely had to retract because it was all lies. And then as soon as they get some new information, all of a sudden it's good because Trump hasn't talking about it anymore. It's like from one second to the next, it just changes. And it's every subject. You just can't believe it anymore. It's laughable.
It's like you can't believe that. Like you have a harder and harder time, even if you wanted to hate him. At some point, it's like, well, hold on. Now it's literally like
you're just blatantly lying to me.
It's just the flip. It's just flip.
Just whatever it is at the moment.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter what it is. Flip it. Flip it. Flip it. It's
like the Washington Post just had an article last week. The op-ed was Washington Lee University needs to change their name because they have ties to racism. From the Washington Post. I mean, so they have to change their name because they're a university, but you don't have to change the name of your newspaper because it's the Washington Post, which is named after George Washington, in case you forgot.
What about, you ever seen those like CNN articles superimposed where it's like Trump talks about like getting rid of like maternity leave, and it's like here's how Trump's slashing of maternity leave will like destroy the family, and then he like out of nowhere he like brings it back and then extends it, and it's like here's how maternity leave is gonna hurt working class. It's like at some point, man, you just got to be like, it is dealing with a kid. It's I remember in second grade when I didn't want to like learn vocabulary, but I learned what the word anti meant. So it was like, what's the opposite of up? And I was like, anti-up. Like, what's the opposite of hurt? I'm like, anti-hurt. Like, what's the opposite of cold? I'm like, anti-cold. And I remember the teacher pulled me aside. She was like, you can't just say that. And like, okay, I learned that lesson when I was 8. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, and but even this is just, this is simple poking shots at the left, and the same could go against us. So just kind of deviate from that track. But I guess for the main, like, let's just choose one. I guess I want to know, what is the stance on weapons? Are we or are we not resisting the Nazi Trump? Are we or are we not trusting cops? All you need is cops. You don't need a gun. Just call 911. Or are all cops bastards? We need to defund the police. Like, which one are we doing? What's the game plan? What are we?
The problem is the game plan. There is no game plan because the game plan is power.
Yeah.
Because we have a neo-Marxist, postmodern view of the world that doesn't believe in anything but power.
Yeah.
And the problem with the whole thing is that the two ideologies are not commensurate. But the postmodernists after the 60s, because they don't believe in meta-narratives, it came from literary criticism, and there is no canonical truth. There is no doctrine. It's all a power game. So eventually they had to sneak in the Marxism in there to perpetuate the narrative.
Yeah.
The Marxism is just a power struggle between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, the rich versus the poor.
Yeah.
It's just a power struggle. There is nothing else. That's the fundamental nature of the world. So the people who, and they might not believe the entire narrative, but every single verbiage they use is from Marxism. Equity, inclusivity, diversity. There's nothing wrong with equality of opportunity. What you're talking about is equality of outcome. There's no problem with diversity per se. You're not talking about diversity of ideas. You're just talking about diversity instead of unity.
Yeah.
You're talking about inclusivity, except for, well, when I was a child, I could have a best friend, or you can't have a best friend anymore. The nuclear family, as Black Lives Matter would say, they need to blow up the Western prescribed nuclear family. I mean, and people will say, but Black Lives Matter is not a Marxist movement. Well, the co-founders say that they are.
And that sucks, because you know what? I think the vast majority of people protesting, I have black friends literally that have been on this podcast that I think are just legitimately like, hey man, you probably shouldn't be killing like unarmed black guys. They're not neo-Marxists, but it sucks because it's getting hijacked.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It's like when you have a legitimate grievance, which would be the George Floyd case.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody in the world that looked at that.
Dude was murdered. Straight up fucking murdered.
Straight up.
No argument.
No argument. Not from a conservative, a libertarian, a liberal, a fascist, a communist. No one will deny that was murder.
Yeah.
It's obvious. But my problem is then you say that the system is corrupt. Okay, Trump immediately put the FBI and DOJ on that.
Prioritized it.
So, of course. So I don't understand where the systematic problem is.
Yeah, it's
that's where I have an issue. Now, if you want to protest, that's your constitutional right.
Go for
it. Then you've got Chris Cuomo on CNN saying, where does it say that you have to be peaceful when you protest? It says that in the Constitution.
Yeah, peaceful assembly. Yeah,
these people are losing their minds.
And the other thing is, it's like it's okay to protest during COVID, but nothing else. And whenever I bring up that point, people are like, oh, so you're not for the protest then? No, actually, I am completely for the protests. I think everyone should be able to go out, because this isn't, you can't do some quarantine. That's not how literally not how virology and serology works.
Right.
It has to be all or nothing. If I put 10 nukes in a building and you find 9 of them, it's not that you got rid of 90% of the threat. Everyone's still fucking dead. So so if you it doesn't matter if 99.9% of the population quarantines. If for 1 week 1% doesn't, the whole thing is fucked. So I'm like, go for it. Protest. I think that's awesome. Go back to work too. Like, let's all just agree on this. Like, hey, fuck it. Go out and instead of deciding who can protest and who can't.
You have more of a chance. You have much more. I mean, I can't even imagine how astronomical it is, the percentage of how much more likely you are to die of being in your car than you are from COVID-19.
Yeah,
or from your diet.
Yeah.
Or from, or tuberculosis, which kills 300,000 people a year, some crazy number like that. Yeah. It's not that there's not a deadly virus. There is a deadly virus. Yeah. But if we wear a mask, which I'm not anti-mask, I'm anti the government mandating I wear a mask.
Yeah, but I'm not against wearing an N95.
If people are uncomfortable that if you're going into their space or their business and they want you to have a mask on, I'm fine with that.
Private company, I got it.
It's their business.
Private business, sure, yeah.
If I don't want to comply with that, I can go somewhere else.
Exactly. If Facebook censors you, I'm unlike most people on the right. I think big tech should be allowed to censor, and I think that the free market should it will dictate a new place that doesn't censor.
Well, I agree with that but the problem is, this is what the problem is. It's like you can correlate it to like CNN and MSNBC. CNN and MSNBC say they're neutral platforms. No, you're not. You are not a neutral platform. You are very left. If you would just say that, if MSNBC and CNN came out tomorrow and said, we are liberal organizations, I'd have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, cool. Go for it.
That's fine, because Fox News was made to be a conservative news station in the 90s.
They don't
to
even
be against CNN.
They don't even try to hide it.
Everyone knows that they're conservative, and they don't hide that they're conservative.
Yeah.
If Twitter and Facebook and all these other social platforms would just say, you know what, we're not just a neutral platform, we're an editor. Fine. Then you're being truthful. Then people can personally decide if you want to be on there, or if I don't want to be on Twitter, I can go to Parler.
Yeah, exactly. You've Reddit, and what are the alternatives to? There's another Reddit. I think Sedit. I think that's one. I think someone made Deadit. Yeah, YouTube. There's BitChute. There's DTube. There's Vimeo. Yeah, Twitter, Parler. And that's the thing is, I don't even think that you should have to come out and say, "Hey, we're an editor." Let people figure it out, man. I can only get my shit taken down so many times before it's like, come on, man, let's get the brain cells sweating. Hold on. I mean, all right, I don't think. Yeah.
And who is the first person that Twitter, which is a neutral platform, fact checks? Of course, it's the president.
Yeah.
You're not fact-checking Black Lives Matter's organization.
You're not fact-checking.
And you're fact-checking the president with a link. That's a link to NBC and CNN. That's where the facts come from. If that's where you get the facts, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, dude, just like let me figure it out on my own, man. Like you don't need to tell me. It's like helicopter parenting versus like, hey, you gotta figure it out. You bust your knee. Hey, that doesn't feel good.
Hey, you learn that for yourself.
Yeah, you treat your girlfriend like shit. She dumps you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm kind of sad. Maybe I won't do that in the future." Exactly. Fuck with your friends, and they punch you back, and you're like, "Oh, okay. I don't like that. It doesn't feel good."
Maybe I should act differently.
Yeah, you figure it out on your own. The idea of like we are my favorite part is it's not just like. It doesn't just say like factually wrong. It's always blurred. Like it's like it's an NSFW link. Like it's just like tits or a dick or something. But it's blurred and there's always a very grave warning. This may be misleading information. Are you sure you want to proceed? And you click on it and you're like, it's not even like it's like, wait, what? It's literally like, are you sure? Because we are the gatekeepers. We don't. Your precious little virgin eyes. Are you sure you want to see what Trump is saying? Dude, I'm a fucking adult. Let me figure it out. And if I fall for it, good. Fuck me. Like
exactly, exactly. It's like So the problem is you're going to fact check the president, but then you're not going to fact check the WHO, which they say the disease is airborne, and the next week they say it's not airborne. It's airborne. It's not airborne, but you have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's.
Which one is it? Is it airborne or not?
Yeah.
Do I need to wear a mask or not?
I'm leaning more and more towards, and I'm hesitant because I feel like it could lead to almost like a nihilist point of view, and I don't want that. I don't want to take the black pill and just turn into like a depressing motherfucker. But like,
no.
Part of me thinks like I'm slowly just becoming like an accelerationist, where I'm like, and I don't mean that in some like it's time for war. No, not at all. But now if I'm on like Reddit. And I just see like, whenever I go to Reddit, first thing you always do is just sort by controversial. Because that's how you find the most downvoted shit. I go there, and when I used to see like a somewhat, it's everyone like, all these cases spiking after Trump rally. You go to controversial, the bottom most of 11,000 comments, and it's like, how come no one cared about the protests? Normally, I'd be like, I go try to upvote that. Now, I downvote it just because I'm like, just accelerate it. Because I know other people are looking at this going, hey, there's a logical thought or a logical comment. I just downvote it further. So now other people are like, man, this place really is crazy. So now I'm not even trying to like hold balance. I'm just like, I push it further. When I see psychopathic, like just purely propaganda posts, I upvote them and share them. I'm like, let's just burn this fire fat. It's not going out. I've been trying to put it out and it's not working.
Not. It's getting worse.
So I'm like, just dump the gas on it. Let's just burn this puppy out.
Well, it's ridiculous because civil discourse is gone. Because the thing that I don't understand about what's going on the left right now is if you're going to say that diversity is our strength, I disagree with that. I think the unity of this country is our strength.
Yeah.
The unity of being an American. That's what my grandparents, when they came here from Italy, they didn't say, okay, all y'all need to speak Italian and you need to do what we do in Italy. They prescribed to the American dream. And then America became primary. In their hierarchy of value, not Italy.
Yeah.
They kept their Italian heritage and their culture and their language, but then they also, my grandmother was 15 years old when she came here. She had nothing. She had to go to night school and work just to learn English, and they wanted to put her in the first grade. She was 15. She said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to night school and I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And she didn't say I'm a victim. She didn't say any of that crap. She said, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to learn, and I love this country. And she still to this day does that.
Yeah.
And they're as conservative as you're going to get.
Yeah. And dude,
they're big-time Trump supporters.
Yeah. And again, I know whoever's listening, I know you're just seething angry because to hear a couple white guys talking about conservative viewpoints. I always ask my liberal friend, I'm like, please come on here. And I don't mean it in like a let's challenge and let's battle. Come on and spit your own 2 cents. I'll sit here and I will allow it and let's do it. Like it's the whole that's why I have Ernie on, because Ernie comes, and again, polar opposite of me, but he comes on here because I have him on here because it boils my blood, and I'm like, I hate you, but god damn it, you're making a rational point. And so like it challenges me, and we text each other, and it's like, fuck, but so I mean, if you're listening to this and you're shoot me an email, Tommy'sPodcast@gmail. Please come on here. Be civil, be cool, be respectful, and we can make dick jokes and we can laugh. Come on here, like it's the idea. I don't want to shut down anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can be a straight up fucking
wrong game. It's the wrong game to play.
Yeah,
it's just like you mentioned Harry Potter earlier. What did they do in Harry Potter? Him being the protagonist and Voldemort being the antagonist.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He who must not be named.
Yeah, you can't
name the problem.
Hate speech.
You don't have to deal with the problem.
Hate speech. You can't. Harry Potter is a perfect. I remember Milo Yiannopoulos said this, and this was back in 2016 when I heard this. When I had just voted for Bernie, but I remember him saying, he was like, when you take words and turn them off limits, all you do is turn them. Remember, he said you turn them into magic, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean magic? And he was like, think about it. You can't say this word. It has been taboo. Now that you form this word, you have now turned it into a weapon. I can say it. Someone can be 10 feet away. I don't touch them. I don't physically throw something at them. I don't shoot them. I don't poison the air. All I say is I utter a word, say the N word, and you see them tense up. That is an incantation. That is Avada Kedavra. I didn't even touch you. You are now bringing magic into reality. If I can just say a word and your head explodes, you have given me a weapon. And he points to, he's like, I think it was on Rogan, he said this. He was like Harry Potter. You know, what from the beginning, literally from like when the book starts, it's he who must not be named. And you know, what does Harry always do? Voldemort. And people always, and they winced. And finally, you can see Harry start to crack after a couple. It's been a while since I've read him, but he's like, "Stop wincing." He's like, "Stop." He's like, "It's a word. It's just a word." And it's just like,
right.
And he takes away
what he is, so we can defeat him.
Yeah, call it what it is.
Name the problem so that we can now attack him.
Shed some light on the shadows, and the cockroaches run. And it's
a union. Well, she's brilliant, right? Because it's a union concept. It's the shadow.
Yeah.
And she perfectly puts it, because you think, oh, Voldemort is the other person, it's another bad guy, but actually Voldemort has a piece within
Harry. Yes.
There's the shadow inside of Harry, which
face your own monster.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant. It's brilliant, and that's a great point to make. It's like, number one, we all have evil inside of us.
Yeah.
We all have darkness inside of us. It's always where we least want to look.
Yeah. And
we have to look at it to fix the problems, but it's within ourselves. See, this is why I'm not an individualist, because I think that goes too far, but I'm definitely not a collectivist.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that because we're all part of groups. We have multiple groups. We've just decided that sex and religious identification and race is how we identify. But what about my hair color, my shoe size? I mean, I'm Italian, I'm Spanish, I'm Mexican. I mean, I'm Catholic, I'm this, I'm conservative. That's not who I am. I am an individual.
You're Mike.
I'm Mike. I'm just Mike, man. That's what the problem with the intersectionalists.
Yeah.
It's like you want to divide everybody into groups, so many groups, and then all of a sudden you just have to go back to the individual anyway.
Yeah. Wasn't there, who said it, where he's like, everyone's so, you know, you always have to find the most oppressed minority. They win the oppression Olympics.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Someone made a good argument. They're like the individual is the ultimate minority. Because it can never be more than one. So you have to then respect everyone's rights, because you are the ultimate minority. You're literally down to your genetic code. I was going to say, what else is in Harry Potter? Defense Against the Dark Arts, Dolores Umbridge, you come in, what, you have all the decrees nailed to the wall, you can't learn magic? Is that not gun control? You learn about it in theory, but you don't need to learn how to use it because you don't... That is literally...
I'm going to control you.
Yeah, exactly. They literally have gun control. And what do? They start having... Is it Dumbledore's army? Is that not a well-regulated militia? Like, you're literally... They go up into these dark rooms after hours. Is that not literally, like, passing along, like, bump stocks in a back alley, like, keeping the Second Amendment alive?
Exactly.
It is the story of fighting against fascism. The Death Eaters? Like, holy fuck!
It's the idea is that, guns, look, the idea is that guns are bad.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that a gun is a tool.
Yeah.
And you either use a tool well or you use it badly.
Yeah. Butternut.
That's the problem. It's not the gun. And I don't care what anybody can argue with me about this. The gun itself did not Wingardium Leviosa up in the air and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Have, whatever your problem is, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. You're the perpetrator if you shoot someone, whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason.
Yeah.
You make the decision to do that.
Yeah.
It's not the gun. And to say that we don't need guns, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number one, it's our constitutional right.
Yeah.
But we want to limit it. But then they said, like you said, they wanted to limit it. We have the police to protect you. Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to fund them too.
Yeah.
You're already doing it in New York. You just took $1 billion from their budget and got rid of the anti-crime unit. Oh my gosh. Why is the crime spiking?
What happened in Jazz? A couple people were shot. Oh, wow. It's almost like power abhors a vacuum.
No, because you had a militant group who decided what the rules were for themselves.
Dude, if that wasn't the most hilarious, like, mini, like, microcosm of communism, like, they banned everything. If stuff got stolen from you, what was the line? It's an unplanned donation. That was the terminology. White people at the end of every day should give $20 to a black man here. And what's the first thing they started doing? Feebly trying to grow, like, potato crops and, like, asphalt.
They put the snow on top of the ground.
God damn, man.
Dig in the ground.
I'm so sad that they broke that up because that was just... Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. God damn, if that just wasn't communism for the shit, man. We should have put some drones in there and live streamed it. Well, hey, buddy.
I was watching a bunch of conservatives talk about, should the president since the mayor of Seattle's not going to do anything about it, should the president do something about it? And,
No.
I even saw on Sean Hannity, he was saying, let them be idiots. Let them have their own little... And I disagreed with that. I think that actually that hurt the president. I think he should have been like, you know what? No, this is our country, and there is no autonomous zone in this country, and we're taking you down immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think they were trying to goad him into a response, though. Because think about it. Imagine if he did do it. Imagine if he did do it immediately. What's the instant thing you would have done? Comparisons to Tiananmen Square, Trump's army. You would have made martyrs. You would have. I think it's. Yeah, you're right. It's a careful. You either go in immediately. Yeah, I mean, it's like I had a guy on here from Seattle the other day who has kids and lives in Seattle. And like talking to him, I was like, yeah, part of me wanted to see it go on because I'm in Maryland. That's so far away, and it's what I said is that it has about as much value to me as a meme. It's like, oh, let's see what happens. But there are people that live there, and that is their business there. And they're like, hey, like, I get, Tom, hey, I get it's funny to you, and it's like a social experiment. This is where I live, and there's a goddamn there's a communist forward operating base in our city. Like, you got to take that shit out. But man,
well, because Americans, it's funny from far away. But what about the businesses?
Yeah.
What about the people's livelihoods that are being torn apart by these idiots who? Freaking kids can't even make up their bed in the morning, but they can go out and fix a political system. It's like, you don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
I'm not a policy maker. I'm an average American citizen. I don't know what exactly all of the prescribed things to do in this country would be. I don't know, but I can tell you what I don't want. I don't want a big government. I don't want people telling me what I have to say. My freedom of speech is important. That's the mechanism, like I said, by which our society functions.
Yeah,
You're not going to take that away from me. You're not going to take away my faith in my Catholic faith. You're not going to take away that I'm a conservative and censor me. You're not going to do that. I'm not going to stand for it. And like I said, on my Facebook when I made that video, people were like, no one's asking you to apologize. I'm like, then why are there thousands of people in this country on their knees for something that they didn't do?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And how come I haven't gotten the apologies because of my ancestors who fought for the Union Army? So everyone that went to Pius, guys, I'm waiting for my DMs, man. I would like an apology because you
said it earlier. You said we're playing the wrong game. There's no
exactly
suppression Olympics. I mean, I don't understand. It's like when if someone in your family is an alcoholic, you don't say you can never get better. You're always going to be an alcoholic, and that's just the way it is. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, what a terrible mindset.
Your child, you tell them you're responsible for your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, all of their sins, are your responsibility. No one tells their children that.
Isn't that like part of law? Isn't that like part of like the legal code? I'm not a lawyer. Isn't that part of the legal code?
I'm not a lawyer either.
No, but isn't there like you can't be charged retroactively?
Yes.
Because we just all understood early on, yeah, you can't do that because we haven't figured out time travel yet.
Communism.
Yeah, we can't. It's not. Yeah, we haven't figured out time travel yet. So if in a year having a hat on is illegal, whatever. Let's not even go to the personal rights and government overreach of making hats illegal. Let's just all agree that for whatever fucking reason hats are illegal. Okay, whatever. Let's say everyone's on board for it. Whatever. You can't go back and be like, look at that fucker wearing a hat in 2020. Like, well, that was in the past. You can't do that. It doesn't matter. But now, throw that out the window. Oh, you're white? What did your ancestors do, buddy? And it's like, I don't know, man. I was born in 90.
Mexico, Spain, and Italy. They didn't do anything but come to this country and work hard.
Yeah, man. My ancestors fought the South.
No slave owners in my family.
Mine literally fought for the Union Army, and then much later, literally fought the Nazis. So, I think Impression Olympics, man. I think I get a free ride from everyone. I'm allowed, and the reality is I don't get a free ride. I'm illustrating just how fucking stupid it is. Exactly.
And we shouldn't be ignorant. And I guess because people could be watching this, when people watch this, it's like, oh well, these are guys they don't acknowledge that slavery was in the civil rights movement. Of course we do. That's a stain on our country. That doesn't mean. I mean, Martin Luther King said in his "I Have a Dream" speech, "My dream is embedded in the American dream."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what did he mean by that? He meant the dream I have for equality of all people is part of the American dream. Why did he go through all he went through in this country if he could just gone somewhere else and been free?
Exactly.
The problem was he couldn't.
You can't. Yeah, there's a reason why everyone fucking comes here.
Exactly. Just because, like, I'm a Christian, just because I fall short of the ideal, which would be God every day, doesn't mean that I dismantle and forget about God just because I don't live up to it. Just because the Americans had an ideal when they started and we didn't live up to it doesn't mean you tear it down. It means you build upon it until you get there.
Yeah.
And Obama said in his acceptance speech, the American dream is alive.
Yeah.
Did he not?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
We just had a historical moment of a black president being inaugurated. That's wonderful. That means we are having progress.
I literally made up. I remember I lied to my homeroom teacher and said I was nauseous, so I could drive home, and because I wanted to watch the inauguration. I was at Pius. I drove home. And I vividly remember it watching in my room because you're right. It's a historical fucking moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether because I didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
Not either time. But that doesn't mean that I didn't see. I was really hoping that with his platform as being the first black president, that he could really bring this country together. I really thought he could do that. And he didn't. And it's really, it upsets me because he really had the opportunity to do so.
There's something I still love about Obama. A lot of people don't know this. So, like, when he came in and obviously took over the reins, you have the entire Department of Defense, and then you have Title 50 law. Title 50 law is what the CIA Special Activity Division lies under. What's that? Real life Jason Bourne shit. That's how we go. Preemptive neutralization, health alteration committees. Wink, wink. No, it's when people die. Oh, wow, what a coincidence. So what he did is there was getting more and more backlash against how we were treating these prisoners, these people we'd pick up and bring them to Guantanamo. And not a lot of people don't know this, and I think if conservatives knew it, they'd probably like Obama more. He came in really early and just looked at it, saw the importance of what the CIA was doing, but saw the growing public backlash against all these human rights violations of what would happen when we kept them on Guantanamo. So he just kind of had his cake and eat it too, and he said, let's just up the drone strikes and then just have less prisoners. Can't have prisoner problems if they're all dead. Based as fuck. Shout out Obama. Right. And no, but they kept that classified because he was like, I can't have that. He did that in like January 2009. Shout out Obama. Go in there, just big dick swinging. Was like, can't have prisoner problems if we have no prisoners.
Wow.
Woo! So yeah, man, gotta fight good on both sides. That's what I like about him. I was like, all right, man.
Of course, I mean, we can get caught up in the same.
He said, she said, your side,
that the left can get in, and that's not good. And if I say, oh my gosh, every single thing Obama did was bad, that of course is ridiculous. No sane person thinks that.
He's the president that made it so that when servicemen and women die overseas and they come back to Dover Air Force Base here in Maryland, he's the first president that made it so that the government would pay for the flights and hotel stay of the families coming to pick up their dead son. Up before that, you had to get a week off work. You had to buy a flight, often at moment's notice, because it's not like you knew months ahead of time your son was going to be dying in an IED. Obama's the one that made it. Government just picked up on the government's check. Hey, you come here, you stay in this hotel, don't worry about it. You come collect the body of your child.
And that's wonderful.
Obama did that. No one knows that. Shout out Obama. Like, it's...
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's many things, I'm sure, like that he did. That, of course, maybe we as conservatives kind of...
don't address it. Don't address it.
Right. Oh, we did something good, whatever.
Head in the sand.
Like, that's not good either. That's not good either. The problem is, the country now is talking about, for 3.5 years, this Russia hoax. I mean, and really, though, this is, and it's literally the opposite. It's literally the opposite. We have Obama. I mean, I watch Dan Bongino every day, and he's really, really good at all this stuff. He has like 5 books on it, and it's just sad that people really, if you're really getting your information from CNN and New York Times, you are seriously deluded.
And Fox, like at both sides, dude. If you don't think these are private companies with bottom lines, dude, these are. I think Bill Burr said it best. He was like, make no mistake. He's like, these things are cast like reality shows because that's how they make money. That's how they make money. I think Rogan said it on when he had Tim Dillon on. He was like, hey man, there's a market amongst conservative males for just blonde chicks with big tits, little waists who just hate immigration. There's a market. There's a market for it. And there is, man. Just like there's a market for an overweight chick with neon blue hair. Like, hey man, that's our girl. Like, go for it. Go for it, man. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, I think it's almost good that shit's getting crazier because on April, it's like every year on April 1st, everyone's like, you got to be really no one wants to get duped. It's kind of become a meme over the years. You double check the source, who wrote it, when was this published, and someone's like, how come we don't do that every day? Right? Right?
Why are we not doing that all the time?
Yeah.
I can't literally watch CNN and see Chris Cuomo talking about the economy, about Trump's economy, and all the charts that he's putting up are from 2016.
Yeah. Or what about those kids? Yeah. What about those kids in
before Trump was even the president?
The kids in the cages. Holy fuck! What about the immigration ban? That list of countries was formed by the State Department under the Obama, and guess what? I'm all for it. Yeah. Ban all of them. Don't let them come in if you harbor terrorists. But
wait, if you're harboring terrorists, but when Obama does it, it's okay. But when Trump does it, he's a demagogue, xenophobic moron. Yeah. You see, it's not the playing field. And the problem is, Tommy, this is the problem I have. If Democrats today are going to say that we have systemic racism in this country, which I really don't believe we have systemic racism. I believe, like you said earlier, that racism, of course, exists.
Fuck Valdosta.
But in terms of the system, the only things I can really think of are the welfare state and prison, which Trump has tried to do some stuff about prison.
Yeah, privatized prisons. Yeah.
He's done a lot with that.
Yeah. Shout out Kim Kardashian. She's spearheading that.
Exactly. But if you're going to say that there's systemic racism in this country, you all run all the systems. You run the mainstream media, you run universities, you run the medical field, you run Hollywood, you run everything. So if there's systemic racism, it's you.
Yeah. I don't like the way this household is run. These people are assholes. You're the head of the household, dude.
Like, hold on a second.
Dude, that'd be like, man, that podcast, TPC, that's a systemically racist, unresearched piece of shit. Maybe
it's just two people talking.
Yeah, but
whatever. I don't know how much of a system that
is. But if I say this, 134 episodes of horse shit, whose fucking finger am I pointing at? That's just me yelling at the mirror.
Right, exactly.
This is my podcast. Like,
you see, but it's all these things that are so consistent. And this is the thing. See, I have a lot of liberal views. Liberalism is not leftist. That's the problem.
Do I, man. Hey, man, I'm legalize all drugs. Unlike most people on the right, I am pro-choice. I personally, I hate when people tell me how long my hair can be. I get pious. I can't imagine what it would be like if someone told me that what I have to do with my body. On the flip side, I also have a biology degree. I was accepted in medical school and pharmacy school, published research in the field of aquatic toxicology, and graduated magna cum laude. I also think that abortion's killing. So I kind of get the stink eye from both sides, because I'm on the right, I'm like, I'm pro-choice, and they're like, oh, you asshole. But on the left, I'm like, I'm pro-choice. You should be able to kill that baby. They're like, it's not a baby. I'm like, it is a baby. You should be able to kill it.
I think the problem is that the lawful political argument is different than the philosophical.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, obviously, while we have separation of church and state, it's like, I'm Catholic. I don't advocate for prostitution, but I don't advocate for it being illegal either.
Yeah.
Because there's a differentiation and a dissemination in the argument because it's different fields that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You have to prescribe the problem in the appropriate domain. To advocate for killing of children, because I do believe at conception it's a soul.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to advocate for that. But then, of course, the lawful argument, what about women who get raped? Mm-hmm. What about all the different scenarios that happen? Well, those are serious problems. Mm-hmm. And the law has to now, if we just put it down to that, if there's special circumstances when the mother is in trouble for her life with having the baby, there's all kinds of complications that can happen. So if we just put it all to that, that'd be a huge win for people that are pro-life like me, who believe that, look, there are extenuating circumstances. Yeah. And we have to take that into account in a lawful manner. But I'm not going to advocate for infanticide by Planned Parenthood. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. That's murder. Yeah. And these people get millions and millions of dollars. No. See, this is the problem. I can talk to you about it. Pro-choice, that's okay. Dave Rubin, who I love, is pro-choice. I just read his book. But he makes a case for it. He's like, 20 weeks? After 20 weeks? No. Yeah. You can have an argument about 20 weeks. Yeah. What about 18 weeks? What about whatever? Yeah. At least he has a reasonable, logical step of saying, once you go past this point, it's too far. Yeah. And that we're losing that ground. And that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, and I respectfully agree to disagree. I get all those things. And again, biology, like, I get all of it. I just look at it from, I can't possibly speak on this because I'm a guy that fucking hate. If Pius said that we could never, we went to St. Pius for high school, for anyone listening, you cannot have hair over your ears and your collar. So my hair was right at my ears and my collar until the day. And then what happened once I got out and I was in college and no one told me I couldn't have long hair anymore? It's been this short since. It's because it's just, that's what kids do. You can't do this. Well, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to do it to a T. So because of that, I would be, for me, and I'm not refuting anything you say. For me, it's a personal, like, my own, like, hypocritical, like, I can't get wound up about that and then think like, man, what if I was a woman? What if I had a vagina instead of a penis? And there was someone saying, you got to keep that baby. Even if it wasn't rape, even if it was just consensual sex, I know that in the parallel universe where I am a woman, probably pretty good looking, I know that I would be up in arms if anyone told. So and again, I do think it's a baby. I do think it's killing. I think you're allowed to do that. But more important than all of this is the fact that you and I can completely disagree on this.
Right.
And just have a normal fucking respectful conversation and then go agree to disagree. Like, right. When you can't even do that, that's when it's fucked. That's when it's completely fucked.
I agree with you on that, but I think, with issues that are always going to be hot topics like abortion, we're having the conversation at the political level, but in order to really get anything done, you can't have that conversation at the political level. You have to go to the theological level to really talk about it, and people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about personal responsibility. They don't want to talk about, the problem is and I'll say one more thing about this and we can move on, but
do whatever we want, man.
We have things that you can't do in this country. We have words you can't say. We don't have words. You can't scream bomb or fire in an airplane.
Yeah.
Those are things you can't say.
Yeah.
They're not things you have to say.
Yeah.
Right? And the government says you don't have to do these things, but if you kill someone, then you're going to be tried for it. If you murder someone, that's against the law. So that's what I have a problem with. But we can't have that argument until we would agree that it's a life. When it's a life, what it is at its origin. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
At different levels of a conversation, you're just going to talk past each other. And I think the left and right do that all the time.
Yeah. No, and you're right. And you said even you got to take it on a theology level. Well, separation of church and state, you're allowed to be an agnostic. I'm an agnostic. You're allowed to be an atheist. You're allowed to go, I think the universe is a bunch of subatomic particles being pushed around by what are the four major forces? Gravity, electrostatic, strong nuclear, weak nuclear. You can just believe that it's all this, and it's just a bunch of lifeless, apathetic matter bumping around. But the great thing about America is you don't have to look at it from a theological level. You're allowed to say, I think sentience is this isn't my belief, but you're allowed to say, I think sentience is a chaotic mishap from biological complexity and that it isn't a life and there's no such thing as a soul. That's why America's awesome, is you're allowed to hold that belief.
Exactly. And that's what I have a problem with what's going on right now in this country, is that the idea that the fundamental nature of this country is racist and built on slavery. That is all crap. It really is. Just because there's a proponents of the system doesn't mean that that's the fundamental nature of the system and that you're just going to throw out everything good because it all needs to be burned in the ground and built back up. Because good luck with that, man.
Yeah, because you can turn it right. You can turn it right around, man. I don't think that the protests are bad just because there's some asshole opportunists. I'm having a stroke because there are some douchebags stealing shit, some rioters. I don't think that you don't throw out the whole protest because there are some rioters. No. You isolate the assholes, charge them, put them away, stop it, and let the protests go on.
Well, the country, should absolutely do it.
Yeah, the country should be founded on, the country was founded on racism. Dog, the whole world was fucked up in 1776.
Are you kidding me? If you were going to take away every system or every person that had
good luck,
you wouldn't have anything left on the face of the planet.
Good luck. Yeah,
good luck with that.
Go
not
find
to say again, not to justify.
No, not to justify.
It's just a state of fact.
Yeah.
There's no justification here. Jesus
Christ in heaven. What's that statue that...
I have to say that. It's so sad that I even have to say that.
So I guess it comes to the question then, man, are we... If it gets so comical... I remember Rogan said this. I was listening... It was in college. It was 2012. And I remember him saying he's like, I almost feel that the world is a simulation. And the universe, it's trying to it gives us these little hints to wake up, because it's when you die you wake up, but the key is to wake up into the simulation while it's going on, because then you can have a lot of fun, because you go, it's all just a okay. He goes, the universe is slipping us it slips us these little things that should raise your awareness. He's like, think about it. He was like, guy named Anthony Weiner gets busted for sending dick pics. The universe is like, did they figure it out yet? They didn't? Keep it going. And his line is, it's almost like the universe is fucking with us. And I remember when Trump was elected, my buddy Harry texted me. He was like, it's almost like the universe is fucking with us. It's like Trump wins the election. I mean, what Obama with the tweet, at least I will go down as a president. And then Trump becomes president. Are we being fucked with? Kanye is running for president. Are we being fucked with? No.
Well, I think the polarization is also high. But it's always been high. I just think that the access to information is so much quicker, so you see it so much faster.
That's my belief.
So it just aggravates the mind quicker, and we don't really know what to do with that.
That's my belief.
But to me, see all these arguments that because I have my political ideology. I'm a conservative. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that I don't agree with a lot of things of the leaning to the left. Now, my conservatism is a modern conservatism because I think probably in the '60s I'd have definitely voted for Kennedy.
Fuck yeah. Dude, my Republican
not been a liberal now.
Dude, my grandparents and
not been a liberal now.
My grandparents on my mom's side, dude, they went to mass every single day for their entire lives, dude. As fucking Roman Catholic, hardcore Republican as you get, they voted for Kennedy.
Right. I mean, in the South, you had a picture of Martin Luther King, Kennedy, and Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I would have voted for you. Fuck, goddamn right, I would. But
my point being, like, the political landscape, like we were talking about earlier, has shifted. So when I say I'm a conservative, I'm talking about a conservative now.
Yeah.
And people can't really differentiate those things. I mean, I would have always been a conservative just because that's my base personality. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot of things, like I'm a musician. I'm an inventor, Yeah. I mean, I'm an artist. So, I mean, I hate saying that word.
Yeah.
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that free flow of information, that creativity leans towards, based on the Big Five model of personality, that leans towards being a liberal mind because of that free flow of information. Mm-hmm. And, so I have a lot of those propensities as well, but then I'm very orderly.
Yeah. Dude,
which is more a component of conservatism. So it's always...
Dude, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm a huge proponent of people taking LSD and mushrooms and finding themselves, dude. I do Photoshop. I make psychedelic artwork, man. I write crazy shit. My language is horrible in the eyes of most people.
Right.
I literally am creating this podcast. I'm very much in tune with the creative and flowing shit.
Sure.
Yeah, I also think it's... What's that meme? It's like a Facebook tier meme, but it's great. It's here are my political views. I think you and your same-sex marriage partner with your adopted kid should be able to protect your marijuana plants with your guns. It's just boom, baby. Right. Yeah,
right. And that's how. People don't understand this. It's like even as a Catholic, you can't. We don't. A man and a man can't get married in the church. That doesn't mean that I don't think under civil law that they should be able to get married.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Those are different things.
I don't give a fuck, dude.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, that old school. Yeah, that old school republicanism. No, man, I
have so many gay friends. What am I going to say? You can't have a civil union? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, what kind of an asshole would I be if I didn't want? Yeah, what kind of an asshole would I be if I didn't want them to find love?
Exactly. So I'm a Catholic, and I believe the foundation of the world and God is made out of love of the spoken word, but I don't want people to love each other.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's what?
Talk about self-refuting.
Yeah.
I'd be liberal if I thought that in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Which makes me think. Well, you said, I know we only got a couple minutes left, but I know you just said a minute ago that this divisiveness has probably always been there, and we're just seeing it more. I think that's exactly what it is. I think
it is.
I think it's probably been this way since we were fucking killing elk with stones 10,000 years ago in like the Middle East. I think it's always been this way. We just see it more.
The only thing that I see now from maybe in the last 40 to 50 years that's different is the idea that this country is not built on something good. That's what I think is different.
Yeah.
I think that the people who were fighting in the civil rights movement believed in this country in the foundational principles.
Yeah.
Now people don't.
Yeah.
Now it's like capitalism is bad. The social fabric of America is bad. The fundamental fabric is bad. And that's where the polarization really where the rubber meets the road for me.
Yeah.
And that's sad to me. I mean, this is the greatest country ever.
It's dude, I have my friend Prince Blackosh from Kosovo. Kosovo. His dad is a journalist, and his dad was literally had his legs broken by the Serbians because he was covering the war. Prince moved here, could barely speak English. I met him in 2014. Motherfucker would work like 80 hours straight. He was insane. Now he's a physical therapist in Manhattan. My other buddy, Ivan, straight from Bulgaria, former Mr. Bulgaria 2015. Looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, sexiest man alive. Lives in Las Vegas now. He's a sponsored weightlifter. You take those two guys, those are the most patriotic motherfuckers in the world. Why? Because they grew up outside of here.
Right, and they know what it's like to not be here.
Yeah, they love home, but they're like, I'm fucking here, baby. United States made it. And it's like, why are you here? And it's like, do you know what is outside of this world? And it's like, that's how they are, man. And it's like, goddamn, fuck yeah. You're right, dude. It's like, yeah, you don't go march for civil rights if you don't believe in this nation. You do that to because you think it can get better. When you're in a relationship and you're arguing because you fucking hate each other, that's bad. But the people that argue because they want to work towards making this thing work, that's like because deep down they believe in their marriage or whatever, and I want to make this thing work. It's
a humility and a gratitude.
Yeah,
behind it, not a resentment and a nihilism.
It's like when you fight with your best friends. I mean, I have some friends from Pius that we go at each other's throats sometimes, but it always maybe it's a week of silence, maybe it's a year, but eventually one of us will a drunk call to the other, hey man, I'm sorry, dude, I was an asshole, and that's because deep down inside, the basis is love. And I would rather have this uncomfortable conversation because I want to keep having this relationship with my friends. If it's just pure hatred and destruction, get the fuck out, man.
Right. I mean, really, because but my problem is we've seen that through history of the 20th century. We saw it in communist Soviet Union. We saw it in Cambodia with Pol Pot. We saw it in Mao, China. I mean, hundreds of millions of people died in the 20th century.
125 million between 1900 and 2000.
I mean, do people not know that? I don't understand. Do you not understand that this ideology that now is all of a sudden coming back, how pernicious and dangerous it is?
Dude, that is the amount of people that died between 1900 and 2000 from communism is the equivalent to 16 and a half Holocausts.
Exactly. And no one knows anything about the Soviets and the gulags or the kulaks and the 20s that came, the farmers that were killed, and 6 million people died of starvation in Ukraine. I mean, no one knows any of this.
Yeah.
And not to take away from what happened to the Jews in Germany, that's a catastrophe.
Yeah. But
you don't learn about the other side. You're only learning about the far right government. You're not learning about the far left government.
I mean, dude, what did Mattis say when he went to where's Pol Pot? Was that Cambodia?
That's Cambodia.
Yeah. When he was a young officer, so that was one of his first places to go, and they went out to the killing fields, and he's like, and what's the first? You can look up the Mattis quote. It's great. And he's like, first thing you do is you kill the teachers and the educated, because they're the ones that could illuminate all this shit that is about to go down. What did Che Guevara say? Che Guevara was eventually too fucking crazy for even Castro. In Surprise Kill Vanished by Annie Jacobson, she talks about, is it Khrushchev or Brezhnev is talking to Castro going, hey, you need to get Guevara under control. And Castro's going, I can't get him under control. Dude's crazy. Because he was screaming, when the time comes, if needed, nuclear war will be used. And the other big one was, you cannot have a free press in order to have a communist revolution. You can't have this shit. First thing you gotta do is you gotta wipe out the opponents. That's the first 100%. Thing you gotta do. And that's the other, I know we're going over, but another thing is when all these people that are like rallying for communism in the United States, you all have this delusion that you're gonna be one of these elitist party members. No, maybe like 5 of you will be these, you have ties to the Kremlin, or when you can get in a state. What makes you're like, yeah, Tommy, you're going to be fucked come the communist revolution. Bro, you're going to be fucked with me. We're both going to be hammering rocks.
You're going to die too.
Yeah.
It's going to come for you eventually. I don't care if you're at the top or not.
Yeah.
And the idea, I can't stand this line. I can't stand it. Well, all that wasn't real communism.
It wasn't real communism.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if you would have been in charge, you would have ushered in the utopia.
Okay.
That's what you're saying. That wasn't real communism.
Well, hey.
If I try it, it'll be real.
Well, hey, counterpoint. Anyone that's got a problem with America, well, guys, this isn't real capitalism. This isn't real liberty and freedom. All right? So don't knock it.
James can make millions of dollars and then say black people are being hunted in the streets every day.
And that's awesome that you are free to fucking say that without a state-sanctioned execution.
Exactly.
Fucking
you are allowed to say that.
Yes.
You are allowed to say that. And when you do say something, then you're allowed to be refuted as well.
Yes, you're allowed to. Yeah, God damn it. And that's why it's the best country in the world. Mike Fiorello, thank you, sir. You are more than welcome to come on anytime you want. That was a fucking blast. I will. Normally takes a couple hours to upload because my internet sucks, so I'll send you a link. But thank you very much, buddy. Good talking.
Have a good one, brother.
You too, man. Peace.